What I can say so far is I love this bag so much. Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video. If you're new here, my name is Jasleen, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. So if you clicked on this video, then there's a good chance that you are genuinely interested and wanting to know more about the Chanel Trendy CC handbag. And perhaps you're doing your research, perhaps you're in the market to get one, perhaps you're looking for a pre-loved one and you wanted to look at some specs of the bag so that you can compare and see which option is good for you. So hopefully this video is helpful to you guys. Perhaps you just clicked on this video because you genuinely like to watch my videos, and for that I thank you so much. So I decided to do a review of my Chanel Trendy CC bag in the small size with the quilted leather in the 20A green that was released for the Chanel Métier d'Art collection earlier this year for 2020. So some people had asked me to do a review as soon as I unbox this, and I like to do reviews after I've used the bag. I don't like to do reviews like right away. Sometimes I know I see videos where they have like an unboxing / review, and I prefer to call those more like reveals rather than reviews, because you only really get to understand the intricacies and the nuances of a bag or anything really once you start to really get to use it. What I like to say is I really do genuinely love this bag so much, and I am so happy that I purchased it. I'm so happy I decided to keep it, although I was obviously going to keep it because I bought it, but I did have a little bit of a doubt in my mind, I'll admit, when I did unbox it about the color. But I fell in love with this bag and I've loved carrying it ever since. It's been really difficult for me to switch out of this bag. I have worn this bag for a few months now, and everywhere I turn, there is not one day that goes by where I do not receive a compliment on this bag and this color. So I purchased this bag in July of this year, so if you recall the unboxing video that I did, I'll link it here as well. And I purchased it in July and now we're in November, so I've had it for a couple of months. And like I've said before, it's been really difficult for me to switch out of it. Usually I rotate my handbags every like 2 weeks, but it was very hard for me to switch out of it because it was so versatile and it went from day to night very easily. I love this bag so much that I even want to purchase it in different colors. Somebody smack me, but I do want it in different colors, perhaps in a black and also a beige. This bag is a similar layout to the Louis Vuitton Pochette Métis bag, and I did own that bag at one point. I had it in the empreinte leather in noir, and I loved the bag, but I never really reached for it for whatever reason. I appreciated the layout, I thought it was very functional, but I wasn't reaching for it, and then I ended up selling it. So I knew that when I sold it, I wanted to replace it with the Chanel version, and that's when I got this. So I'm going to do a bit of an overview of the bag, as well as at the same time kind of going and showing you what's in my bag, because I am planning to change out of this now, so I will do that. So this bag, this is the small size. So the small size, you can probably count from the quilts. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then halves on the side. So there's 5 quilts across. And the quilts on this bag are a little bit larger than what you'd find on the classic flap. There is a Trendy CC seasonal variation where they have very oversized quilts, but this is the classic combination. It also comes in a chevron quilting pattern as well, if that's what you prefer. For myself on the Trendy CC, I do prefer the quilted pattern. What this bag is known for is at the top, you have this plate, okay? So it's a shiny plate. I haven't taken the sticker off yet, and my sales associate said, well, you probably don't need to take it off unless it starts to sort of like bubble and, you know, get worn, and then at that point you have to take it off. But you really can't tell that it's still on there. The bag has a turn lock closure at the front, so you can open the lock and then open the flap, and on the inside here you've got stitched CC logo on the inside, similar to the classic flap. And the back has a Mona Lisa pocket. So in there I like to store like parking tickets and stuff like that. Anything small that I really need readily access to. This has a similar structure to the Louis Vuitton Pochette Métis bag. So it has 3 compartments. There's one center larger compartment, there's a back compartment, and then there's a front compartment here. And it's kind of like a I don't know what to call it, trifold type of bag, that sort of accordion type of design, if that's what you want to call it. There is a top handle, which is really handy, and it's not as stiff, unlike the Chanel Coco handle bag. That handle is quite stiff. This is movable, and it still has some structure to it, but it's not like digging into you when you're wearing it on your side. You also have a shoulder strap that is like so. It is not detachable, so there is a leather bit at the top, which is very comfortable. I prefer this sort of width for a leather strap because it nestles into your clothes and it kind of stays put. For me, I don't have very wide shoulders, so if I have a very wide strap, then it tends to sort of fall off, whereas this width is perfectly fine. The chain itself is similar to the chain of the classic flap, so it has the interwoven chain detail on both sides. And inside, if we open the bag, the strap has these little stoppers, okay? So on each side, you have this little circular stopper there that prevents the chain from coming out. And on the stopper, I also still have the stickers on that because I didn't bother taking them off, but it has a CC on both sides. So there are earlier models. So I purchased this year, and I think the year before that, correct me if I'm wrong, they used to have this like T-bar. So instead of having this circular sort of stopper, it would be like a T-bar, so that you can actually take it out of the little holes of the bag. And so they stopped making that. You may come across some older models in boutique, like let's say if they didn't sell from previous collections, you might come across it. I did come across one. It was in like mustard. It wasn't very good looking, but it's still at the boutique. Nobody bought it yet, but it has that T-bar, and they started to do that for a lot of their bags. I know for my Deauville tote, they have they used to have the T-bars on those totes, but now they have these same round stoppers, okay? That's one of the reasons why I never really purchased the bag, was because when you remove the strap, then you end up having these gaping holes here. So I'm glad that they did that, because I wouldn't want to be in a position where I'm carrying it top handle and then I have these holes in the plate. I don't really like that look. And also that T-bar, I wasn't really secure with it because I felt as though if I was holding it a certain way, there is a chance of those little T-bars popping out and then you potentially dropping the body of the bag, which would not be cool. So if I was to ever hold it top handle, I just drop the handle in and I carry it like this, okay? So the bag on the bottom does not have feet, so it rests on this bit here. Most of the weight is distributed or balanced on the front flap and the base, but more so on the front flap rather than the back flap. But that's what it rests on. There are no feet, no metal feet on this bag. These bags are usually almost always done in lambskin. I have seen a jersey variation, which is really special, but it's not done in caviar, it's not done in calfskin, it is always done in lambskin, and that is one of the reasons why I do love this bag, but we'll move on from there. So once you open the bag, you have 3 compartments, and I'm going to kind of go over what I have currently in this. I haven't cleaned this out or anything like that, but I'm planning on changing into another bag because we are approaching the winter months, so I thought I'd go from there. Now, there in the front compartment, I have a comb. I also have, oh, this is a receipt I have. I had to drop off a pair of earrings to get repaired. The very first time I've ever experienced, there was a little stone that came out of those earrings, so I had to take it in, which, by the way, it's ready for pickup. I just got the phone call, so I'll pick it up in the next couple of days. I have a receipt. This is a receipt from Aritzia. I returned something, and I always hold on to the receipts because I want to check my credit card to see if I actually got the return, and I did, so I'm going to throw that out. And that's it that I have for the front compartment. That's pretty surprising because usually I have a lot of junk in here. But in the front compartment here, oh gosh. The front compartment, you've got the 2 gusseted pockets and then a little lipstick holder pocket there as well, just like you have on the inside of the classic flap bags. So now the main compartment. The main compartment is where I store most of my stuff. So the chains kind of sit when I don't wear it on my shoulder, which majority of the time I do wear it on my shoulder. I really like wearing it on my shoulder, but the chains kind of rest at the top. On the top I have my sunglasses. These are the Dior 30 Montaigne sunglasses that I really love. I've really been enjoying wearing these. Okay, so they just kind of rest at the top. I don't really put it in a case, but if you wanted to, you could. AirPods, lipstick, and I don't have it in any particular order, but sometimes I do stand things up. So it's not like I have everything kind of like stood up and organized, but you know, because of the compartments, it does keep everything in. I've got my 4-ring key holder from Chanel, so has my keys in there. I have a travel size perfume. This is from Maison Francis Cochon. This is their Baccarat Rouge. I have my Hermes Bastia coin holder. I have 2 key fobs for cars. I have a compact for makeup. So that is the center compartment there. Okay, so that's empty, and then the front is empty as well. And then in the back pocket, this is more slim in the back, but in here I have some money. So everybody kind of asks me about this. This is like a little, oh gosh, this is like a little Ziploc pouch that I had for my iPhone 6 phone. It was a cover that came in this, and it just was a neat size for all my cash, so I just kind of put it in here and I put it in my bag. Okay, and then what else? I also have, okay, this is a remainder of my store credit at Chanel, so this is in this little Ziploc bag so I don't lose it. And that's about it. So in here we also have a zipper. Okay, so there's a zipper pocket there, and I don't really put anything in there. I did put my store credit from Chanel in there because I really wanted to keep it safe, but then as I started spending that store credit, I was like not worried so much anymore. But anyway, so that is the overview of the structure of this bag. Now for the pros. This bag is super versatile. I loved the color. When I purchased this bag, I wasn't really planning on purchasing it that day. I mean, I was looking at the Coco handle from 20A, and it was in the small size, not the mini size, and I wanted the mini. And I was looking at the small, and I said, you know, I would like to see like comparison of sizes. And he said, my sales associate said, I think we have a trendy CC. I'll bring it out and you can just compare the size. So he brought this out, and I'm like, wow, like that color is really nice. And yeah, like this is in green. So this green was for 20A, and it was not on their website. I didn't even know that this color came out. This is very similar to the Hermes Vertigo color, as well as the cactus color. So there's cactus green and then there's vertigo. So very similar to those colors if you want something for reference. The color doesn't show up as true to color on camera for some reason, but I'll insert a photo where you can really see the true color. I loved the combination of this gold hardware with this color. I thought it was so stunning, and I knew I had to have it, and it just with what I was wearing, it also went as well. And when I brought it home, I unboxed it. I still loved it, and my husband really loved it. He doesn't like the style of this bag because he thinks it's a granny style, but because it has such a fresh, young color to it, it just makes the bag look more youthful. I unboxed it, and at first I was a bit apprehensive about whether or not I'll be able to wear this as much as I could, or as much as I did. I was like, well, this will probably only go with black. and I do wear a lot of black in the winter time, so it's nice to have a pop of color against that. But it went so well with whites, and I wear a lot of whites in the summer. It wasn't such a winter bag. I found myself wearing this in the summer a lot, and it went so great from day to evening. I would use it as a day bag, easily take it out for the evening, and it just looks so elegant because the size isn't too large. And then you also have like the dressy hardware, you've got the top handle, so it's formal, but then you also have like the long chain strap where you can wear it on just on your shoulder, and it's very comfortable. I can also wear this crossbody, but I'm not really a crossbody person. I like to wear things on my shoulder, but I can wear this crossbody. I'm 5'6" and I'm not the skinniest person, but you know, I'm about 140 pounds, and I can wear this crossbody no problem. This bag is very versatile. That's one pro. You can take it from day to night easily. I would suspect even if you had this in black, it would go really well. If you had another color, it would go really well. This goes with camels, it goes with navy blue, it goes with white, it goes with black, it goes with a lot of neutral colors. The only colors I can think of that wouldn't really suit this, you know, color would be like maybe a pink or a red, because it kind of clashes. But I could be wrong. I haven't tried it yet, but I think it probably won't go. It may not look so well put together with other greens of different shades, because then it'll clash. That's the only thing I can think of, but essentially it was very easy for me to pair this color with a lot of items, and it's a pop of color that, you know, grabs people's attention. A lot of people would ask me like, wow, that is a stunning color, because it wasn't so popular. You didn't see this color on Instagram like as you did with like the lilac colors. So this was part of 20A, and people didn't know about it until, you know, I showed it, and they're like, wow, like I want that color. So my camera battery died, and that's why the lighting might look a little bit different. But anyway, I forgot to mention I also keep my card holder in the Trendy CC because I had this, I was doing a coffee run, so I just took my card holder in my jacket, didn't bother taking my bag. But anyway, this is also in my bag too. Okay, so as I was mentioning before, I was rudely interrupted by the camera battery dying. It's versatile, it goes from day to night, so that's kind of why I didn't really switch out of it. Now, this has compartments, so it holds a lot. The 3 compartments, like, they're not very stiff. Like, the accordion sort of, it's very flexible. It's all leather on the inside, so very, very soft and very luxurious to use, but it does hold quite a bit. This could be pro for a lot of people because it provides some organization to the bag, and I actually kind of like that. I really do like the fact that I can kind of slot things in where I need them to be. Again, I'm not carrying like a lot of stuff all the time. Like, I don't need to carry a whole lot all the time, but I remember when I was younger I was carrying a lot more because I was commuting. Like, I mean I still commute, but I drive now, so I have a tote bag with all of my work stuff. But when I was commuting, taking transit, then this might not be the bag that I would use every day, but for my lifestyle right now, it works really well. This might be a con for some people who don't like compartments because they find them restrictive. So it depends on what you prefer, but I like the fact that it has compartments. This is fully leather, okay? So this is a full leather bag, unlike a lot of other bags that they have at Chanel for their seasonal bags. Their classic bags, like their classic flap, their reissue, they're full leather. This is one of the other ones that is fully leather inside and outside, and yes, some people complain that it might make it heavier. I honestly don't think this bag was that heavy to really in this size. I don't think it's that heavy at all. It's definitely lighter than the classic flap, but definitely like a good weight. Like, I don't really like bags that are super light because I feel like they don't kind of stay put, if that makes sense at all. But I like a good weight. I like that luxurious feel, similar to like an expensive car, right? You know, when you slam a door shut for a car, if it's a cheaper car, it doesn't make that loud clanking sound, and if it's a more expensive car, it makes a nice, you know, loud sound when you close the door. So I kind of like that weight. But this is definitely really nice that it is full leather. Okay, so the nice thing about this is it's got a very comfortable strap. I like to wear this on my shoulder. I can wear it crossbody. So really quickly while I'm at it, the strap length, so for the top handle going down is 4 inches, okay? And if I fully extend the strap, the longer shoulder strap, and I bring it down, up to the bar, it's 19 3/4 of an inch, okay? So 19 3/4 of an inch for the full strap, and then 4 inches the strap drop for the top handle. I can easily slide this in the crook of my arm, and I have worn this like this with the strap inside the bag. So if I drop the strap inside, I can wear it like this, and it looks really elegant. I can easily pull the strap out, wear it on my shoulder, wear it crossbody, you name it. Very, very comfortable. There's no bars to deal with. So the newer version, I like the fact that it doesn't have the T-bars, because then I feel like there's a risk of them popping out and then you essentially dropping the body of the bag while you still have the strap on you, and that's not cool at all. It's easy to get into. There's a turn lock closure, and because it doesn't have a very long flap, it's very short. So when it's on you, I can easily get into it, and I can open the bag and get access to what I need and then close it. It's really not fussy. I don't find the turn lock to be fussy at all. I do like the opening. I like the size of the flap on this because it's not long. It's not like the boy bag where you have to really swing it open. It's a shorter flap, very easy to get into. The handle itself is not as stiff. It's actually quite, you know, it has good shape structure to it, but it's not super, super stiff that's going to be digging into you like, say, the Coco handle. Now, for me, one of the pros is that this is lambskin, okay? And this might be controversial. This could be a con for a lot of people. This doesn't come in caviar leather. This doesn't come in smooth calfskin. It comes in lambskin and then possibly a jersey material. I think one of the reasons why I love this bag is because it's in lambskin, and I'm a very OCD person. I like to keep my bags in pristine condition. I don't like scratches, I don't like scuffs, but lambskin is really not so bad, and I've talked about this in my previous videos. Lambskin, if you use it and you handle it, I feel like it develops this patina over time that, you know, you don't really notice a lot of scuffs, and even if you do get a scuff on it, you can buff it out. If you get a strong scuff on it or a strong scratch, you're gonna get that on caviar too, right? If you're rough with it, you're gonna get that on caviar, you're gonna get that on calfskin. The only downside with those leathers is because they're treated and coated, and there's pebbles on caviar that you can scrape off, which has happened to me before. If you've watched my wallet on chain review, then you're still in the same position, right? So I really, really do recommend lambskin. Don't be afraid of it. It just feels so nice to the touch. This is part of the reason why I love the bag. Okay, and now for the cons. There are no feet at the bottom. So yes, there will be wear on the corners. Now, I asked people who had this bag on YouTube, I'm like, how do you notice corner wear? And no one was really able to answer my question. Maybe because this bag is relatively, well, it's not new. It's been out for a while. I think it's just taken on popularity only recently because price point compared to classic flaps is better. It's not a cheap bag by any means. Canadian, this was $6,400, and then it went to $6,575 because of the currency adjustment that they did. And then tax on top. Like, it's not a cheap bag by any means, but it is cheaper than the classic flap. So a lot of people were opting for this because of how versatile it is, yet it still has a classic look to it. And it's taken on more popularity now. So that's probably why people only have just started to use it and they can't really comment a lot on wear. But I will suspect, and I have noticed, and I'll probably insert a zoom in shot, but since this is a colored bag, it may not happen for black bags, or it may not be such a problem for black bags, but at the front here, I do notice that, like, just barely a millimeter by a millimeter, barely. It feels as though the color has flaked off, if that makes sense. So I think there's different ways of how leathers are dyed, and like you can see a little bit of the white underneath, and I noticed that like the first day that I wore it. So I literally, the first day I wore it, I took it out of the dust bag and I wore it, and I took it to, it was on my off day, so I went to Chanel at Yorkville, and I didn't set it down anywhere because it was still in the dust bag in the car as I was carrying it. And when I went there and I put it on the counter, and then after that I noticed that there was a little missing patch there. It's very, very small, you wouldn't notice it. It's only on one side, but that's it. And you can have the edges painted and whatnot, but that's the only thing that I've noticed. And I do suspect this is going to happen for the colored bags, so tan, green, pink, red, or whatnot. Probably not so much for black, and I think that has to do with how the leathers are dyed. I'm not an expert on it, but I do know that there's leathers that aren't so saturated in color versus leathers that are really, really dyed, if that I don't know what that's called. I'll look it up, but that's probably got something to do with it. Another con that I would point out is, yes, you can easily put, you know, the strap like in, like people show. You can put it in, you can bring it out, and you can put it back in and out, like if you drop it in. But if you have stuff inside the bag, you can't easily drop in the chain because you have stuff in the way. And then alternatively, if you have stuff in the bag, you can't easily pull the chain out because the stuff is on top of the grommets. So you do have to open the bag, and you do have to like weave the chain through to get into it. But if that doesn't annoy you, it's fine. There is also a potential for the hardware to scratch, namely the nameplate. Now, I haven't taken the sticker off yet. So I'll probably do like an updated review in the future. I haven't taken the sticker off yet because I don't really have to. It's on there pretty securely, and my sales associate said you can't really tell, and once it starts to sort of wear off, then maybe take it off. But I haven't been advised, and I've heard that the metal plate can, or the metal for any hardware, right? Like, do take the stickers off because the metal can start to oxidize underneath the sticker. So you don't want that to happen. Just take it off. So one thing I noticed that I forgot to mention in terms of the con, when you pull the chain strap out, often the chain comes out twisted. It's not like the classic flap where it kind of is always straight, and it's because, you know, the strap itself twists on itself inside, so you do have to turn it around a little bit. I did notice that that I do have to fiddle with it a little bit so that this can now lay nice and flat and not all mangled up. But you know, it's not something that really bothers me. This is just the nature of this strap. Same thing will happen for the Deauville, because same idea. It has those little circular stoppers that prevent, you know, it's one of those collapsible type of chains. It's not like the classic flaps. So that's the only thing that I noticed that I wanted to add in here. So colors show up much better on lambskin than they do on caviar. So I had seen a cocoa handle and Trendy CC in the same 28 green, but the cocoa handle's in caviar and this is in lambskin. In lambskin, colors are far more vivid. So if you want to get a colored bag, get it in lambskin because it just showcases the color so well. And that's kind of the reason why minis are in lambskin, because they have, people usually get minis for colors, right? So if it's in lambskin, it just shows up more vivid. Like a red in a lambskin will show up so sharp and vivid compared to caviar. Same goes for the Trendy CC. So price, as I've mentioned, it is not a cheap bag. Even on the pre-loved market, I don't think they're very cheap. Right now, these are harder to come by because they're so popular. Before, I remember these were knocking around and I wasn't really paying attention to them because I was more focused on the classics. But it appears as though like these are just selling out so quickly. But it's not that they're impossible to get, it's just that they're, right at the moment, they are very popular. In terms of scratches and whatnot, I don't notice anything significant. I do have a very small scuff on the inside, but it's like barely noticeable. Like it's barely noticeable and not something that I'm too worried about. But the inside is calfskin, and I did inbox some organizers that I received from Zoomoni, and Zoomoni, they were kind enough to send me these organizers for a few bags that I have. I was searching to get organizers for some of my handbags, and I asked a few of you, I asked people on Facebook, and they had recommended Zoomoni, and so I reached out to them, and then they said they offered to send me some organizers, which is really, really nice. But the nice thing about them is that they came really quickly, like within like a week, like 7 days, like less than 7 days from South Korea to Canada. I got these organizers. It was so fast. These are made out of 2mm of felt. They're very, very sturdy. So these are two that I received for the Trendy CC, and there's a little bit in here you can, I think this is just thrown in for free, but you can put in like a card or something if you want to. So there's one for the middle section and there's one for the front. So there's two pieces to this. And you know, not that I need organizing for this bag. I mean, it already has compartments. The reason why I would say that this is a good idea to get these for this bag is because you can protect the inside of your bag. So I'm going to slot this in. So this goes in here and it fits in there perfectly. And the bigger one goes in the center compartment. And as you saw when I did the what's in my bag, these two compartments are the ones that I use the most. So I was a bit apprehensive that I would scratch the inside, even though I use like SLGs and stuff like that, but you never know. I wouldn't want to scuff the inside. So this doesn't take up a whole lot of room. They're quite thin yet sturdy, and there's little pockets on here so I can slot like card holders, receipts and whatnot in a bit more organized fashion than me just kind of throwing everything into the bag. So I might actually use these little compartments to put in the key fobs, right? Because they don't fit in my key holder, so I can put them in there so they don't scratch the inside of my bag, because that's what I was more worried about. The nice thing about these organizers is that you can easily switch from bag to bag. So if I did get another trendy CC in black or in beige, then I might use one from the next. But so far this will stay in the bag. This will help to maintain the structure of the bag because it is all leather, and at some point gravity will take its toll, and you know, leather will collapse on itself. Although this is double leather lined, so it will not have so much of a structure issue than if it was fabric lined. Okay, so if it was just a single layer of leather versus double layer of leather, this does already have structure, but this is just to take it into more of that protective capacity. I did order base shapers from M Boutique. You know that I use a base shaper for my wallet on chain and for my boy bag, so I did ask them to make a base shaper for the center compartment. So they didn't have the measurements, but I sent them my measurements and they are able to make custom ones. So I'm waiting for those to arrive. So they shipped out today and they should be here in the next week or so. So I'll come back and I'll show you how to maintain the structure of your bags, because I like to keep my bags pristine. I like to keep them looking as new as possible, even though I'm probably not going to sell my bags, but just for myself I like to keep them as new as possible. These are premium felt. They protect the inside of your bag, they keep the shape of your bag, and they provide some organization as well. So I do know that I'm going to use some of the little compartments here. They come in a variety of colors. I'm very, very impressed that this green literally matches this bag exactly. Like, I wasn't expecting it to match exactly, but it does. So that is really, really neat. What else do I want to say about this bag? I don't have any regrets. I can't believe I was this close to, or the thought even crossed my mind that this may not be the bag for me, but I'm so happy that I purchased this in this color. One of the reasons why I was reluctant to buying this bag was because at the time what attracted me in this bag was getting it in black, and I already have black Chanel handbags and it doesn't make sense for me to add another black one, even though I may swallow my words and get a black one. But I just like the fact that it's a pop of color, it's different. It is a pop, but yet still something that goes with a lot of my neutral outfits. It just adds a little something. Like, even with what I'm wearing right now, I'm wearing a blouse, like a white blouse. It just works. It works really well. So if you guys are looking for a trendy CC, I would say yes, go for it. There has not been a price increase in Canada yet. Even when they did like the massive one in May of 2020, this did not go up in price. So that's kind of why I also leapt for it, because I didn't want to pay more than I should for this bag. Alright guys, I will do an updated review at some point in the future, because having this for a couple of months and using it continuously, yes, I can give you my thoughts on the bag, but when I really like give it, you know, a couple of years from now, if I'm still on YouTube, then I'll definitely do an updated review. Okay guys, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this is helpful for you. If you have any questions or if you have any feedback, please feel free to write to me in the comment section down below. Sometimes there might be a question that you might have that I didn't even address. So if you have a question, definitely put it down there and I will definitely answer you, and hopefully you can make an informed decision if you want to purchase this bag or not. Okay guys, I will see you next time. Bye.